Going live. Going live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth finally on PC on the GTX 1650, 3060 and 4060. How are you guys doing? Welcome. First of all, thanks to Square Enix for providing a code of the game. They actually provided me a code like 20 minutes ago, which was surprising just as the last minute. So thanks to them for providing a code and you guys for watching the stream. Otherwise they wouldn't pay attention to this channel. So thank you for that. Hi. Does it have the Nuvo? I'm happy to report, first of all, before the bad news, I'll give you the good news. The good news is it doesn't seem to have the Nuvo at all, like the previous one. The previous one didn't have it, and according to this, it doesn't have the Nuvo. If we go to, I don't know, Persona 3, as an example, this game does have the Nuvo. So it's listed in here. And this game doesn't list it in the Steam page. Anyway, so as usual, we go to the requirements first. So minimum processor, i3-8100, very old CPU, same with the Ryzen 5 1400, 4 cores 8 threads, recommended 5600, 6 cores 12 threads, or 3700X, which is 8 cores 16 threads. When it comes to memory, 16 gigabytes, but when it comes to graphics, this is the interesting part, RX 6600, A580, or a 2060. RTX series required. So what does this mean? You need a graphics card that has DX12 Ultimate support. And they recommend 12 gigabytes of VRAM for 4K, which makes sense. But this is a physical thing on your graphics card, unfortunately. So if your graphics card doesn't support ray tracing, at least DX12 Ultimate, you are SOL. So keep that in mind. So you need RDNA 2 or an RTX card, basically. And the game is 153 gigabytes. So it took a while to download. That's why it took me so long to get this stream going. So, yeah. Yeah, this game is deck verified, but the Steam Deck does have hardware support for that. So let's see what happens on the 1650. We hit play. Okay, we hit play and we get this message on the 1650, which is technically not supported, obviously. DX12 is not supported on your system. In this case, DX12 Ultimate. So running without DX12 or D3D12 line argument. As usual, when we get errors like that, what I like doing is going into properties, launch options, and try to force DX11. Just for the memes. So DX11, and we get fatal error. So there's probably a workaround using DXPK, maybe, I don't know. But it will run absolutely horrible because it has to translate those commands. So let's swap GPUs right away. So 1650 speedrun, any percentage. So F's in the chat for the 1650. Alright. By the way, I still miss EVGA. You beat Persona 3 on your Steam Deck, it ran really well. You mean the remake, Reload, or the original? I tried Reload and it runs very well actually. Spider-Man 2 coming soon, are you excited? Hell yeah. I platinumed that game on PS5 when I had a PS5. So definitely. Cannot wait to play it on PC. Yeah, I don't have a 6 gigabytes of VRAM card, unfortunately. Did Borderlands 3 DX12 mode ever get fixed? I haven't played it in a while. The DX12 one used less CPU, but it stuttered quite a bit on Borderlands 3. Okay, we're now on the 3060. Let's see what happens. This one should work just fine. We have 12 gigs of VRAM as well. Do I have all my stats? Yes. Let's get into it. You forgot about EVGA splitting with them? Yeah, man. It's a big loss for everyone. Do you remember the Spider-Man 2 PS5 stream? Yeah. I wanted to do comparisons about it. Okay. I'll mute the audio for a few seconds just to disable the music. Okay, preparing shaders. Wonderful. Now test on 3050. The 3050 is blue screening. I'll try it at the end of the stream. But if it still has blue screens, I'll have to RMA it. So we'll see. Yeah, and if the RMA goes well, hopefully, I don't need to buy another one. So wondering if this is going to be acceptable at 1440p. Well, your 4070 Ti Super should be fine. We'll see once we try the 4060. The 4060 is slower and it has less VRAM. If it works on that one, it should be good on the 4070 Ti. By the way, big props for adding a shader pre-compilation. GG. You have a 2060? Unfortunately not. If you could choose one Switch exclusive to put on PC, what would you pick? Probably Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I know. Weird take. Yeah, no Spider-Man 2 system requirements yet. We'll see. Shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, already better than the Final Fantasy VII Remake port, just due to the precompiled shaders. Definitely. Okay, so before I get taken down with the music, I'm sorry guys, but I have to turn it off. Need to be safe. Alright, perfection. Okay, let's see the options menu. Okay, we don't have full screen, only borderless. Gotcha. Frame rate 60, 30, 90, and 120. V-Sync. I love VR that they put BRR here. This should be no V-Sync. The brightness is at 0 for some reason. Okay, we can control the dynamic resolution. Okay, we can keep it at a minimum of 33%. That's a lot. Background model detail. This already has way more options than the previous game. Ocean detail, character model detail, effects, texture resolution, obviously on the highest. Shadows, if this is anything like the previous one, shadows is going to be a big hit. Okay, we have DLSS, TAA, and TAAU. And the classic thing with the characters displayed. Character shadow display. This one has so many more options. Okay, and this one will be useful for Steam Deck, low resolution font. Can you even control the pop-up? No. Okay. What happens if I put it on DLSS? I'm guessing, okay. For what I'm seeing here, the DLSS is controlled with this. So let's keep it without dynamic res, 100% resolution, and we're going to restart the game as well. Macro model details seems to control LOD, which probably huge impact on CPU, and GPU as well, probably. Oh, and let me try to launch the game without an internet connection. Okay, so I disconnected the internet from this computer, not the one that's doing the live stream, obviously. What happened with 1650? Rewind the stream a little. It basically doesn't work. Okay, my display is actually set to 1440p. So if I want to use 1080p, I basically have to change the desktop resolution. That's hilarious. Yeah, of course. This is what I hate when they do stuff on Unreal Engine improperly. Having a nice full screen option would have been nice. REBIRTH does not have RT. It has global illumination, as far as I know. Not the same as UE5, obviously. But it does have global illumination. Okay. So highest settings 1080p. Plus 100% resolution DLAA. Okay, this is as far as it goes. And we're on 1080p right now. Skip. Normal. Active. Yeah, the one turn based stuff. Thank you very much. Oh, and I forgot the audio. Sorry, guys. We're going to skip the scenes. Tomorrow is a review of the 5090. Okay. Am I at 1080p actually, or? Not entirely sure. But this is definitely not the most demanding part of the game. I'm calling it right now. Let me see if oh, I cannot. Of course, sometimes you cannot pause the game. Yeah, it seems to be 100% 1080p. Yeah, the open world is definitely going to be more demanding. There we go. Yeah, we gotta go to the moment the world opens up. Is that close or that's far away?
Get away from her! He's got a buster sword! Terrorist!
Okay, a stutter. Those first attacks. GG. It's like 1 to 2 hours away. Ah, are you kidding me? But the game looks pretty good, actually. I'm not surprised, though. By the way, those slowdowns... Yeah, there are some stutters. But nothing like the previous one. Is that stutter only happens the first time? Apparently, yes. I already preloaded shaders when the game started, so we should be good. By the way, I'm installing the game on Steam Deck right now.
Alright then. Seeing as we've got the time, wanna tell the rest of us about...
Yeah, this is UE4. UE4 but with DX12 Ultimate. What? Yeah, of course, if I didn't watch the cutscene. I wasn't going to understand anything. I'm sorry I'm skipping everything, that's part of the channel. What controller are you using? I'm using an Apex FlyDG Apex 3 Elite. Okay, is this the open world? Stutters go in like 30 minutes. Okay, so it still has background compilation, gotcha. Yeah, the FPS dropped significantly now. So this is probably the open part. This is 30 FPS on PS5, but there's a 60 frames mode that has a very aggressive dynamic resolution. Explore the village and prepare for the mission. Okay. After this section, oh,
What do you think of our village?
it's going to drop significantly. Gotcha.
Ah, Shinra's here, I see. Thank you.
You're Shinra? Shin?
Oh, I didn't
Why is this better than
recognize you,
PS5?
Cloud. How you've grown.
Uh,
I must say.
I'd rather not say.
You're so cool.
We have 12 gigs of VRAM, we have a faster CPU.
I gotta catch a glimpse of Sephiroth.
I mean, it was going to be running better.
Be sure to rest up tonight. Got a long day tomorrow.
PS5 is locked to 1080p on 60 FPS mode. Yeah, it's super blurry on PS5 with the dynamic res. Let me see if I can do anything about this 48 FPS thing. Okay. Without touching the resolution, of course. Effects. Oh, the shadows, obviously. There's high and low for shadows. Okay. Gotcha. So this is high plus low shadows. Okay, that gives us a boost right away. And the shadows still look good, so no big deal.
Don't you think?
I love the pause menu. And that it has a lot of options now. Okay. And let's put the resolution scaling as a minimum of 66. So 66 to 100% resolution, dynamic resolution with DLSS. Weirdly enough, there's no FSR nor XeSS, only DLSS, TAA, and TAAU, which I think PS5 uses a TAA one. DLSS quality, I mean, quality is 66%, so we're going to tell the game, hey, in order to maintain this, please go between 100 and 66. So the game is going to dynamically adjust to get there. Yeah, let's see what happens. I should probably put this at 60 though, but let's keep it at 120. Let's see what happens. Okay. This puts us into the 70s, although I can see already blur. Quite a bit of blur. But quality will be like 66%. Can be added via DLSS enabler. Good point.
What, really? I thought you were happy he decided
Okay, current position, yeah.
to stay at home. Not with the...
The PS5 experience, no, I think we are a little bit above that. Quite a bit, actually. But we'll see once we get to the open location. Don't worry, I'll go there as fast as possible, as usual. Okay, I can see already that the shadows drop pretty close to the character, but we don't have a medium shadow setting for some reason. Yeah, you can use FrameGen if you want to with lossless scaling. I don't think it's a great idea though. I don't like FrameGen.
You wouldn't have lasted a day. Who was it that you...
Okay.
to say
I
how
gotta
serious
explore.
the military was?
I should have researched this one more thoroughly before starting.
Is that you, Cloud?
I'd be interested to see how one of Shinra's finest fights.
I mean, I think they should patch in FSR and XeSS. We shouldn't have to mod that stuff in. But the previous game did have dynamic resolution on at all times, and we have to mod it out, so... yeah. What I cannot stand about FrameGen is the input latency.
Folk are so sophisticated.
Whether we like it or not, it's generating a fake frame in between each frame, or more than one.
Don't make any trouble for Sephiroth.
Soldier, Good to see you.
Soldier.
How about a taste of home before you go?
Sandwich.
I'm eager to talk to him too.
Taste reminds you of a home.
Is it fun being a soldier?
Fiends in the air.
I already feel safe now that soldiers.
Good. We're so glad you're here.
Backwater is an understatement.
Crazy 5080 won't be as powerful as 4090. That's hilarious.
Whoa, real soldiers.
All clear here, soldier sir.
Chickens.
Is he like Sephiroth too?
Never stops. Keep the city safe for each and everyone. Stamp the shit.
But I think shadows, going back to the settings, shadows on low is good enough. I'll see, though, if I lock it to 60, maybe the dynamic res will be less aggressive, maybe? I think so, yeah. Okay, a 60 FPS lock is recommended so far.
Make sure you're prepared for it.
Hey, good to see you, soldier. You can leave this gate to us. Nobody's getting through on our watch.
You worked out with everyone?
Just for a bit.
Could you keep up?
All right, everybody. Gather round. It's time to suck.
Okay, nothing here.
To see how soldiers keep in shape.
Yeah, this is the, well, not exactly the highest.
Stop on my mom's.
Sure it does.
Me too.
We only lowered the draw distance from ultra to high. Yeah. Here I'm the hotel room. Rest at the inn once you're done exploring. I will. Oh jeez.
Get a good night's sleep.
That sandwich looked like ChatGPT made a sandwich. Yeah, but I guess it shows up for a few seconds in a cutscene.
Looking back,
So they were like,
the
ah,
signs were
whatever.
From the moment we arrived,
Let's put stuff in the
Chris
middle.
wasn't himself. What you looking
Yeah,
at?
we're going to do 1440, definitely. Give me a few. There we go. Okay. So on 1080p with the dynamic res seems to be okay. At least outside. In the village it did drop though. But let's see the pop in. I'm going to go back a bit further. Let me run in any direction, please. Yeah, we're going to do ultra too. But let me see the highest settings on 1080p without any dynamic res. Okay. Highest plus DLAA. So without any any adjustments on 1080p, we seem to be good.
You probably already
Right
know
now.
this, but our reactor's the first
Of course,
of its kind.
subject to
Really
change
got
depending on the
people on
place. This doesn't seem to be the open part.
Time, but none with such a breathtaking view. Who could time
Oh,
it?
hang on, guys.
Everyone, of any.
Give me a moment. I forgot something. It's on my side, don't worry. Okay. There we go.
Actually,
So VRAM, we're at
Man, I
8.5.
wish I could go on trips all over the world like
And I forgot to unlock the frame rate. Sorry guys, today I'm a little bit distracted.
you guys.
There we go, unlock frame rates. But so far in the first village,
Which are
I was dropping frames.
though
Although,
you do learn stuff on them.
That's so cool.
what is it with the pop-in on the highest setting? Look at this. That doesn't make sense. What's going on? Am I missing something? Let me restart the game super quick. Because yeah, this this doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm restarting, don't worry. Yeah, there seems to be a texture quality option, so no worries. But that's confusing. Yeah, no, this pop-in is still there in the highest settings. That's hilarious. Oops. I screwed up there. What happened? OBS is acting up. There we go. Yeah, it's 155 gigs. I wish they were a bit more conservative, but I guess it's a big game. So Final Fantasy is not to defend them, of course, but I remember when Final Fantasy 13 came out on PlayStation 3, it was like 2 Blu-rays or something like that.
Everything okay?
I think the reason that game wasn't on 360,
We're just trying to pace ourselves.
some of them.
But I thought you
Yeah,
guys
I
were
think
in a
that
hurry.
was one of the Final Fantasy games that wasn't on 360. I'm just
I'm
not
even
remembering
close to burned
correctly.
out.
It was
Not
because
without
of the
the training I've
space.
had.
Yes, you really are the best.
No,
there
the
is.
1650 doesn't work, guys, on this one. Unfortunately, you need a DX12 Ultimate compatible GPU. That means RX 6000 AMD, an Intel card, or an NVIDIA RTX card. So yeah, unfortunately, we're on that one. Okay, 13 is on the 360. Gotcha. I remember there was one game that they said like, there's not enough space. Fire.
Calling fire. You're done.
Okay. So when I use the fire, I got a couple stutters. Let's see if that changes once I do it again.
Burn.
Okay. So there's some shaders that are not compiled. But not as bad as in the previous one.
Awesome.
You think?
The Last of Us 2 opened in 1650. I don't have it, but The Last of Us 1 does, so it shouldn't be a problem. Initiating combat. Okay.
You're up.
Yeah. I know how to play.
Calling fire. You're done.
Ooh,
That one felt pretty
2
good.
for 1. Spider-Man 2 opened on 1650. I don't have that one yet either. But we're going to be playing Spider-Man 2 next week. Without a doubt.
Is that Mako?
I think it has global illumination. RB to block, B to move out of the way. Makes sense.
Shit.
Focus thrust. Just like last night. But no one ever.
Let's finish this.
Well, that's that.
GG. What do you think 3060 will do in Spider-Man 2? Probably very well. That's probably a 1440p game. Considering how it runs on PS5.
You know what to do, Cloud.
Okay. So while I'm waiting to get into the more open locations for the real test, I cannot pause the game. I hate that they don't allow me to go into the options menu at any moment. Oh well. As soon as I can, I'll put 1440p just to have something different on screen. Yeah, a bit of an oversight, the missing FSR and XeSS. Maybe it wasn't an oversight, I don't know. But every game has it nowadays.
Calling fire.
What about 4 gigs of VRAM? As long as your card supports DX12 Ultimate, it should work, technically.
You're done.
So I'm guessing the minimum card that should run it is a 2060, which is listed in the requirements, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Shall we pick up the pace?
Tiene DLSS? Sí.
Absolutely have to.
Then
Yeah, that's the thing. The game does have DLSS, TAAU, TAA, but doesn't have FSR or XeSS. No, no tutorial. Okay, saving, awesome. I can now change. So as you can see, we were at 100%. If you want more FPS, at the moment I would say shadows on low, and background model details, you can lower it a bit as well. Then the amount of characters, I put it at the maximum, but in the towns it likes to drop frames. So yeah, let's try 1440p. Unfortunately, since we don't have actual full screen, I'll have to change my desktop resolution to change the resolution in the game. So give me a sec. But so far so good. Is the game blurry like PS5 or not? As long as you don't use aggressive dynamic resolution, you should be good to go. By the way, I forgot to check. Yeah, there's a texture resolution option. So if you have less VRAM, it should be good. So now 1440p at native resolution. So we're not allowing the game to go lower than 1440p at the moment. Although at 1440p I'll probably lower shadows for a boost in performance.
now we're talking.
By the way guys, can you hear me mashing the controller button in the background?
Let's finish this.
Because I know it can be annoying. No, I don't think mods can fix, quote-unquote, the game for 4 GB cards or GTX cards. I don't think so. Also, if they actually make the game run under those cards, it's probably going to be almost unplayable. Just due to the VRAM usage and having to translate the API to something else. I don't know. Just a reminder. Of course, you can change your components if you can afford them. It's not a requirement. The the RTX cards, the first RTX cards, the 2060, the 2080, all those, came out in 2019. So they're basically 6 years old at this point, 5 to 6 years old. Which made me feel very old, actually. So maybe after 6 years it's time to get an RTX card or AMD card that supports ray tracing. No, I don't think GTX cards are ever going to have a playable experience on this one, unfortunately. But you can play the previous one in the meantime. That's my advice. Plus, once you change your GPU, you can actually play this one. It will be way cheaper.
Piece of
You get it cheaper. Maybe 1080p, sorry, maybe 1440p high will run it at 60. I mean, shadows, there's only low and high. So as long as you don't mind some shadow popping, we should be good. Although it has a very, especially when looking at these rocks, a very Unreal Engine 4 look to it, so... I'm not entirely sure...
Not that way.
Oops. What the big demand is.
It's a dead end. Rockslide took out the bridge a while
So
ago.
and Clint, he was
Come on back,
impressed he got
okay?
this running at 30
Okay.
during combat on deck at all. I mean, yeah, dynamic resolution. I mean, just the fact that it runs on Steam Deck at all blows my mind. Because remember, this is not on PS4. This one is on PS5. And on PS5 it looks very blurry when targeting 60, so the fact that it works on a portable machine as well. Maybe 1650 can work with SteamOS. That's a good point.
This way.
I'll try it later.
Gotta make a detour through a Shinra facility.
To think I almost made you.
What's the DLSS quality like at 1440p? Reasonable or a bit blurry?
Otherwise, you'd have let us straight
Well,
off the
actually, 66% usually balanced DLSS looks pretty good at 1440p in my experience. This game though already has some, even with DLAA, it has some artifacting. If you look at that fence, it's always the fences. But what we can do is actually just like cap it at 66%, which would be quality DLSS. So the fence still looks weird. Looks a bit softer, but we get a much higher frame rate. But yeah, believe it or not, 66% resolution is quality DLSS. Funnily enough. I think DLSS quality at 1440p at least looks good enough. The hair doesn't look perfect, especially in motion. But it doesn't need to be perfect, I guess. I think it still happens with DLAA. Although Cloud looks a bit flat there. Why the hell does my capture card doesn't stay in place? Yeah, I think quality DLSS makes the most sense. Although in here we're dropping to 60 again, so... More complex materials. I tried this NIS upscaling on Steam Deck with this game. I mean, as long as we're doing 1152 by 720, we should be able to enable it. It all depends if the game actually allows us to do 16 by 10 natively. Yeah, 40% of you not being able to play the game is crazy, I agree. Although, if you're looking for a video of me playing with the 1650, of someone playing with the 1650, you're probably watching my video, so... Kinda makes sense. But it's crazy, still.
Burn. It's on now.
I think it shouldn't require an RTX card personally, or a 6000 series AMD card.
Let's finish this.
But if they made it with DX12 Ultimate in mind... Come on. Points.
That's that.
Yeah, I'm guessing The Last of Us 2 on PC will be way better. Actually, this part runs worse than outside, but I think I know why. It's probably... There's more light sources that cast shadows.
Try not to breathe it
On the outside, we only had the sun. That's my guess, by the way. But the game looks pretty good. I have to hold it. Okay. The perfect connector. Yeah. Oh no, it's locked.
Elevator access restricted.
No, the game doesn't need more VRAM to avoid stutters.
Air purification.
Some shaders don't seem to be compiled at the beginning. They missed some of them. Please let me move faster with this. There it goes.
Auto gas levels reduced by 20%.
We need more. Is there an infinite cable length?
Auto gas levels reduced by 70%.
Can happen on the first run of the game. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you play the game for a bit, it should stabilize.
No auto gas detected. Elevator access granted.
You miss UE4, you hate UE5. Man. Same. I think many games don't need to be UE5, but hey. But as you can see, again, indoors it was like 50 to 60, outside is 90 something. Yeah, I never thought that I would miss UE4 either. How do people in Latam get computer parts? You buy them from retailers that overprice the hell out of them because of import taxes. So we just go to our retail store or order them from Amazon and pay the 60% import fees. At least in Uruguay it is like that.
Then let me go
Can I set the Japanese language?
I'm the guide here.
Maybe you need to restart the game. I'll try it. Do you guys prefer the voices on this one on Japanese or in English? Personally, I do not care because I'm not paying attention. I'm just seeing performance. Yeah, when Unreal Engine is mentioned, everybody hears boss music. English, Japan. I tried DX11 and the game crashes. Sephiroth joined the party. The hair is not so bad when we're close up, actually. Approach a scalable wall. Okay, the yellow paint is back. I find hilarious that I just have to move the stick in the direction of the yellow paint. I miss Uncharted. Sitting at the rest stop or sleeping at lodgings will fully restore. Okay, let's restore. Yeah, the VRAM usage is creeping up to 10 gigabytes. But remember that we're playing at 1440p with the highest textures. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about yellow paint, I just find it funny. Instead of yellow paint, you can call it... It used to be white, it used to be bird poop in Tomb Raider. So it's always been there, technically. The thing is, most people won't know where to go otherwise. So personally, it doesn't bother me, but I like options to turn them off. Just because immersion. But it doesn't break the game for me. I don't think the game will run on GTX cards, ever. I don't think they can fix that with a mod, honestly. And if they do, it's probably not going to be a great experience. Again, that's just my opinion, of course, but I have seen other games where they manage to do that with older cards, but it just ends up being unplayable or broken graphics.
Gotta say, that one felt pretty good.
5700 XT. I think it's the 6000 series cards. Is it RDNA 2 or RDNA 1? If it's RDNA 1, you're SOL. The requirements say at least a 6000 series AMD card. It's so dark in here. What the hell? See, this is why you need yellow paint. Such a hypocrite. Can I break these? No, of course not. Wow, this looks very good though. Yeah, yellow paint. We need a yellow horizon. With a big arrow that says, "This way, sir." Oh, I have a lot of them thunder. These two atoms. OPAF. Is this UE4? Yes, sir. It's UE4. How much VRAM is used when in low settings? I'd rather not change the... Let me get to the open world and we're going to talk about VRAM. Although we have a 4060 after this card, so we should have a good idea on how much VRAM is going to be using. But just the fact that we have a texture quality option makes me happy. The cloud is also busy. You have a 3080 and 5800 XPD, you should be fine. I have never played any Final Fantasy game. Is this game good? In my opinion, so far it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake, but with a bigger map, basically. Personally, what I would do is play the previous one. It's called Final Fantasy VII Remake. This one is called Rebirth, which is part 2. And if you like it, get this one. Probably when you finish the first one, this one will be heavily discounted, so... I think the story is pretty good. But if you play, again, the previous one, it should be a good starting point. Usually they are pretty what to say? Auto-conclusive, self-conclusive. In a way, I'm happy about that because they call it, I don't know, we're now on Final Fantasy 16, and that one is a completely separate thing. Otherwise, you have to play like 16 games to play the latest one.
This won't be the last.
Yeah, the 2060 Super should be fine. 8 gigs of VRAM. The minimum requirement is the non-Super 2060, which has 6 and 12 GB versions. So it should be okay. Is it better visually on this resolution than PS5? I mean, I don't know. I think PS5, if I'm remembering this correctly, is the 30 FPS mode is like 1440p. Or is it higher? Or 1800p? I honestly do not remember. Never played this one on PS5. But we're not in the open world section yet, so I'm trying to get my gameplay to that part. Should be more demanding. Also, when we get to the Steam Deck, we're going to be able to...
Watch and learn.
to actually show it properly on deck. Integrate is bundled with Remake, so that's the first part. Yeah, I don't think you should get them in a bundle, because if you don't like the first one, you're probably not going to like this one. This is already better just by running it on max settings, yes, but we're not in the open world. But visually, yeah, definitely superior to PS5 Pro when it comes to graphic settings. There's less pop-in, better lighting, and all that. But the game on low still looks great. Sorry about that, guys, I'm back. My internet sometimes dies for a couple seconds. Yeah, Sephiroth is badass, I agree. Final Fantasy 16 is a different engine. It's the same engine as Final Fantasy 15, actually. So, and this one is Unreal Engine 4, so engines completely different. Personally, I rather have an engine that runs well. When effects show up in Final Fantasy 16, man, that frame rate. Come on. No, the 16 series cards won't run it. Nvidia sent this man a 5090. Man. Please don't. It wouldn't go through customs. That's the funny thing about my country. Even if I get something as a review sample, the government doesn't care. They are like, okay, what's the value of the item? And I'm like, $2,000. And they'll be like, okay, that will be 60% of the value of the item, thank you, sir. They would say that, but in Spanish, basically. So even if Nvidia wanted to send me a 5090, it would be a nightmare. Yeah, right now it doesn't run on anything that doesn't have RT support at the moment. I wish I could walk faster with this. Jesus Christ. This is one of the reasons I hate the first Last of Us. Made games add sections that you just have to drag something very slowly.
No Mako gas detected. Elevator access granted.
Access granted. Yeah, it doesn't have the X11. ¿Dónde soy? De Uruguay. I'm from South America, Uruguay. Yeah, the 2060 should be enough. 3060 laptop should do it. How much import tax you pay on electronics? 60%. I'm not kidding. If I need to import something, I need to pay 60% of its value. The government loves that. And these lights don't cast shadows for some reason.
Up ahead. Looks like a way out.
Final VRAM fantasy. I mean, considering it's 1440p, I think the VRAM is acceptable, the VRAM usage. We're on the highest texture quality. Not sure if the textures are anything above PS5 when it comes to quality though. Okay, weakness is fire. Gotcha. Disappointed, honestly? Yeah. Like a friend of mine would say, I am agree. Oh yeah, fire.
On me.
Access mod is probably the only way to bypass it then, hopefully. Yeah, DLSS 4 looks way better than DLSS 3.8. from the videos that I've seen,
Sephiroth.
definitely. I'm happy that it works on 20 series cards. And by DLSS 4, I mean the upscaling part, not the frame gen part. Okay.
Pretty mobile.
Till we knock it down.
Good thing I don't just fight with a sword.
Points.
Got it.
Move in.
Copy.
Se puede jugar en unas 570, no va a arrancar en esa gráfica. Te va a decir que no es compatible. RX 570 won't work, guys. I'm saying that because somebody asked me about it, and well.
No holding back.
Unfortunately, no, it's not going to even launch. I'm just going to spam fire. Yeah, F's in the chat for RDNA 1 and before, and 16 series cards and before.
You're practically panting.
I'm excited.
Although the last game that I was expecting that to do that was this one. All things considered. I was expecting a more demanding game to do it. I don't think they'll update it to support those
Like
cards.
the looks of this.
Stay alert.
But I mean, weirder things have happened.
On me. Yes, sir.
Who knows? I personally think they won't do that. You upgraded from 1050 Ti to 6600? Yeah, you'll be fine.
Rookies.
Yeah, F to all South America people with the cheap 580s. Man, what a card, the 580.
Get me out of here.
Shouldn't be too hard. Come.
Oops. CPU wise, not that heavy it seems. Still not in the open world.
Got ya.
But I mean, by looking at the Final Fantasy games, they're usually GPU bound until you get to a town.
Didn't expect it to be all systems go.
You'd think it'd be running at
Yeah,
cruise
indoors with more
last-gen models.
shadow casting
Let
lights.
me guess. Pillagers don't have a clue about
Needs
this.
to be running
Knowing
was.
Shinra? Of course not.
The company really needs to be more transparent.
Tell that to the president.
Why does Sephiroth look at bro like that?
The people in
Bromance.
charge. While most reactors are under the jurisdiction of urban planning.
Is that a Wukong control? Yeah, it's the Wukong controller. Yeah, that Game
Why
Science
do I
sent
suddenly have a
over.
bad feeling about this?
It says
See
Wukong.
here, you are not to speak of it.
Oh, I won't.
It has a Wukong logo in the middle. It feels pretty good actually to play on this one. Does it have frame gen? Not entirely sure. Maybe on the 40 series cards. Since I don't see FSR and I don't see XeSS anywhere. But it does have adjustable dynamic resolution, so props to them for adding that and the shader compilation pass. Okay. Really? So much advanced gameplay. This reminds me when in Killzone 2 on PlayStation 3, in order to rotate a valve, you had to hold R2 and L2 and move the 6-axis controller to the right. Immersive gameplay. Yeah, you can also use lossless scaling. That's another option as well. Should I not bother trying it, even download the game with an RX 5500? No. No. Don't even bother. Unless somebody releases a mod that claims that it works in unsupported cards. Oh, okay, DualSense adaptive trigger showcase, but without the DualSense part. I gotcha. Makes more sense now. Okay, what now? Before doing anything else, let's save. I haven't saved in a while. The game does it for me, but... Okay.
I met Sephiroth as he was heading busy, I suppose.
Yeah, whatever. You're skipping cutscenes? Yeah, I do that because I don't want to put any spoilers for you guys. And since we're focusing on performance, I usually skip everything so you guys don't get spoilers. Just see gameplay. In real life, I do not skip cutscenes. I just play the game normally. Talking about that, I started playing Persona 3. I might do every Persona game. Okay, this looks way more demanding. Way more shadow casting lights. This looks awesome. The atmosphere in this part. Oh yeah. I turned off music as well just to be safe. I got burned too many times by the YouTube copyright thing. So apologies about the no music. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the open world. That's why I'm speed running through it. No, Persona 3, not 4.
Took a look around the place, but Sephiroth was nowhere to be seen.
Oh no. Sephiroth is nowhere to be seen. What does that mean? Yeah, Steam Deck after this one. Talking about Steam Deck. Right there. I downloaded it. 154 gigabytes. I don't know why, but this area reminds you of Dark Souls 3. Kinda makes sense.
Never knew it had a basement.
It actually reminds me more of Dark Souls 2 at some point. I do love the metallic look of the sword. There you are, sir. Excuse me.
Excavated from a
Can we expect 4060 based on 3060? I'm going to do 4060 after this one. I just want to know what the open world is. Doesn't seem to be right now.
Hey, you! Get in there! The villagers need your help!
The villagers, the Commonwealth needs your help. What will be the best budget GPU to get right now? Probably, if you don't care buying older generation, probably a 3060 12 gigs would be the best deal. You get a lot of VRAM, very decent performance, very close to the 4060, but you get 4 gigs extra VRAM, which is usually a good idea for newer games, especially if you go above 1080p. Too dark? Yeah, I agree. It was a bit too dark. By default, I don't know why the brightness is at 0. There we go.
Mom.
Hey! You thought I was live for a 5090 review? No, Nvidia doesn't send review samples to me. Believe me, I tried before. They were like, hell yeah. And I was like, well, I live in Uruguay. Do you ship to Uruguay? Oops, at the moment, we do not. So maybe sometime in the future, but I think I have bigger chances of having Valve sending me a Steam Deck 2 if that ever releases. But at least I have you guys, so when companies see you guys watching the streams, they're like, okay, we can give you a sample. Fine. So thanks to you guys. I mean, as an example, Square Enix gave me a code for this game. Oh, please, let me move a bit faster. Am I going the wrong way? No, I'm not. Where's the 3050? Right now it's broken, basically. It's blue screening. So I'll try it later, hopefully. But if it keeps blue screening, I'll just RMA it and try to get it fixed. RTX 5090, RTX 4090, OC, honestly. I mean, yeah, probably 25% faster or something like that. I'll get the ARC. The real MSRP is crazy. I mean, the ARC cards seem to be good value at the moment. The thing is, if you can get one at MSRP. Yeah, the game looks good. This part especially, I think, showcases the visuals way better than at the beginning. Come on, Cloud, you got this. Oh, thanks, Shiva Doge. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, so far it's running well, but again, we're trying to get to the open world. That's why I haven't been changing settings very often. Yeah, the 3050 should run the game just fine. Come on, you can got this. Yeah, maybe it's the sword. It's too heavy. The sword is way too heavy. That's my guess. He remembered that the sword is heavy. The RX 6600 should be fine. It's in the minimum requirements. Shouldn't be a problem.
You monster!
10 gigabytes of VRAM, but it's 1440p on the highest settings, so it kind of makes sense, I guess. Do you think the 570 can handle this? It won't launch the game, unfortunately.
You sick son of a bitch! That's far enough!
It's so funny that they point guns at him, like, if that would do something. Oh my god, Sephiroth from Kingdom Hearts! Yeah, I remember Windows 7 using a gigabyte of VRAM. I was like, man, I have unlimited VRAM. It's like, people used to tell me on the internet back then on Windows 7, dude, a gigabyte of VRAM, it's overkill. Just get a 512 megabyte card. I mean, I think that's the secret for Sephiroth's hair, just not taking baths. Yeah, maybe someone will find a workaround, but... Yeah, thanks Jake, I appreciate that. Yeah, the Steam Deck video will be there right after this one. You don't even need to look for it. I will redirect you automatically.
Sorry, did I wake you?
Don't worry.
Nope.
We good.
Oh, it's nothing, really.
Okay, finally, the audience retention. The audience retention arrived. Oof, PTSD now. The Italian Senate incident. No, no de novo on this one, surprisingly enough. I was expecting de novo, but it's not there. Just like the previous one. So GG. GG for the shader pre-compilation. That still needs a few extra shaders. And for a better options menu than the previous game. What is wrong with Spider-Man 2 on PC? The release is next week, yet no system requirements. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's kind of sus. Doing well, thanks. A lot of people buying this game only for Tifa. I mean, that's not a bad reason to buy it. Learn how to play Queen's Blood? No.
Of course. This is only
Okay, this definitely runs worse.
Good morning, sir.
So we're finally getting there.
I must apologize for your companions have all stepped out.
The fact that Final Fantasy 16 runs worse than Alan Wake 2 on deck is hilarious. Yeah.
Perhaps a trip to the
Good idea.
And that's another game that looks pixelated on PS5.
Finally. Rough day yesterday.
Okay. Red 13. Overcoming challenges, helping people in need, and exploring the world will deepen your party's bonds, thereby increasing your party level. The higher level, okay, yeah, classic. Okay, this definitely runs much worse than before, so I'm guessing this is the open world? Or am I still ways off? At least the town runs worse.
Morning.
Morning.
Everyone's kind of off doing their own thing.
Any other Mako tank?
Sorry. Dumb question.
Okay, so 53 FPS here. Let me see if I can improve this with only tweaking shadows. Unfortunately, again, shadows only high or low. There's no middle. Okay. I can definitely see the difference in shadow quality though. Yeah, the shadow draw distance. Let's try this again. Well, I have a lot of characters on screen also. Maybe it's just a town issue. What if I display one character? Okay, a lot of pop in now.
There's a nice breeze today.
I love the way that they do the character thing. If you guys look, it's pretty funny. So there will be characters. The characters is at 0, by the way. So they pop in. But if I'm getting far away, they don't pop out right away. They stop moving. And they disappear. 3, 2, 1, go away! And they start slowly fading out. That's pretty funny. But hey, it's a good way to do it. It's not as obvious. So let's put the characters at... You know what? In the towns, I don't care if there's a lot of characters and it drops performance a bit. The background model detail, I think, will matter as well. Yeah, that definitely changed something. Okay, the background model detail is important. No wonder it's lower than PS5. Although there's a lot more pop-in. Okay. So that seems to be it. I gotcha. Maybe high is a good in between for the city. Okay. So the model detail, we're just on high settings now. By lowering the models from ultra to high, we seem to have an improvement there.
Just thinking about what might have happened to my family makes me sick.
It makes sense for the open world stuff. DLSS was the best one for that too. Why is that even happening at 1440p on quality upscaling? What do you mean? I got lost for a second. By the way, quality DLSS at 1440p looks pretty good, in my opinion. I usually use balanced 1440p. But I'm targeting 60 frames.
Welcome. Damn. Seen plenty of action.
You have quite a weapon there, a giant sword that is taller than the character.
See? What? Just make sure you take proper.
Although I love how the game looks, but once you are in certain sections like this doesn't look amazing. This indoors part. Okay. I'm going to ignore this.
You take care of that weapon now.
3050 4 gigabytes? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if 4 gigabytes will launch the game. Because I forgot that the laptop 3050 is 4 gigs. Yeah, some scenes look super flat.
There's so much fresh produce to
Whee!
I'd better stop my washing machines.
And is mightier than sword. Yeah, right.
Oh my god. Uh-huh. Finally decided to get up?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So what you been doing?
Talking about audience retention.
Got business with the books? If so, I won't keep. Wanna climb the clock tower together?
Sure.
Sure.
For real? Awesome. Since it was my... I'll meet you in front of the...
Hey there. Welcome to Magnata Books. Oh, well, customization
The
can't, but I
books.
think you'll pick it up quick enough. Let's give it a try. And that's about all we can do. But we haven't even skimmed the surface.
Yeah, some textures are not
May not
great.
seem like it yet, but you'll see.
Go to the clock tower when you're ready. Hell yeah. I'm always ready.
Hey, do you know what's going on? I wanna...
Yeah, the game looks great. It's just some scenes are not amazing. Especially those smaller indoor places. Almost at open world.
Cloud! Over here!
Yeah, I mean, considering the size of the game, they cannot make everything look perfect, I agree. But just feels that needs more shading in this part, as an example. I feel like it's a little bit too bright in here. Or maybe I'm just used to screen space ambient occlusion making every edge super dark. Maybe.
I think Midgar's this away.
Midgar. Not to be confused with Midgard. Yeah, that's what I mean. It feels like it lacks ambient occlusion at some points, like this over here. Oops. Thought she fell. My bad. Yeah, maybe more bounces in global illumination.
Follow me.
I'll follow you, sir. By the way, I'm already an hour playing the game.
Not here.
Well, we know
Take
they're
the
in
back
town.
Best to steer clear of troops. Okay. Seen anyone acting suspicious? There's a guy with a sword. Double his size. Yeah, inside buildings is too bright.
I heard about
See, that's something I think mods
That was you, wasn't it?
can fix. The lighting
I'm on your
indoors.
side. Got a contact at HQ.
You're with Avalanche?
The 3050
Not exactly.
blue screening at the moment. If I get it to work properly, it'll be back, but otherwise RMA probably a month
You two go up and over.
out of the combat zone. But if it breaks, I'll probably have to buy another one. We'll see. I'm thinking about my options. I haven't seen 3050s in stock for a while. But who knows, maybe I'm lucky. Yeah, I'll put it in the oven. If they give it back to me broken again, I'll put it in the oven. Yeah, not suspicious at all.
Annoy someone else. Stop wasting our time.
Come on, Cloud. You can do this, man. Keep going. Nobody will notice you. Especially your shadow. Your shadow over there.
They turn up yet?
The guards won't see my shadow.
Searching buildings. We'll search harder. We gotta find.
Man, imagine how much harder stealth games would be if the guards see your shadow. No, no de novo on this one. Guards don't look up. No, the 1650 doesn't work, unfortunately. Doesn't work on this game.
That went well. The end's not much further. Stay on your toes.
Stay on your toes. I'm trying, sir. Yeah, the sword is part of the armor. That's why. I don't know if it's 4 GB cards or only the X12 Ultimate cards, because somebody reminded me that there is a 3050 on laptops that is 4 gigs. So I don't know if 4 gigs can run it. I'm definitely curious now. If somebody makes a video on that, please send it over.
Oh, you made it. All in one piece?
No, not in one piece. I'm still missing something. In MGS5 they see your shadow, really? I don't remember. I mean, I remember they seen me from very far away, which was a nice touch. But I don't remember them seeing my shadow.
Where to now?
Where there's a draft. This way.
Looks like a job for me.
There we go. You got the game installed on the 3054 gigs in front of me? Okay. Please let me know. I'm super interested. She said One Piece. Oh my god! Nintendo will go after them now. The Nintendo lawyers. But sir, we don't own that. Go after them. Okay, so I'm guessing this is the open world section. Definitely. Yay, finally. We're here. Awesome. Let's save the progress before something happens. Okay, let's see the performance difference with the draw distance at the highest. So we're on high draw distance at the moment, but it goes up to ultra. So on high we're at 55 on high draw distance. But on ultra draw distance, instead of 55, we get 32. Damn! Although the difference is very, very noticeable. I mean, you can see so much more into the distance. It's half the frame rate. You know what? I'm happy that they at least add that option if you want to use it. But man, I wasn't expecting draw distance to be that. I think it includes shading as well. This casts shadows. I can see the grass all the way up to behind Cloud. But on high, I might need to take some screenshots to show you, but... Okay, there it goes. I mean, yeah, the grass looks better at the distance, and the models are higher quality, but you get double the performance, so... Unless you're running something more high-end, you probably want to keep the draw distance on high. Yeah, no wonder the PS5 doesn't have that option. That makes so much more sense now. So definitely I would skip the highest draw distance option. Unless you have a good GPU to back it up. But a good thing is optional. I'm glad that they added that to the menu, because they could have easily just kept it on ultra or on high and called it a day. Anyway. Let me go back very quickly. Shadows on low instead of high. Okay, it doesn't seem to matter as much as in the previous one. And the game doesn't seem to need a restart either, which is good to see. Alright, let's try the lowest settings. Just see how much performance we get without touching the resolution like before. So low settings versus... Okay. On low settings we get a massive boost. So instead of the upper 50s, we're in the mid 70s. And you can see that the grass draw distance is worse than the PS5. But hey, it doesn't look bad on the lowest, it's just the pop-in is more distracting. I love that the game by default tells me, okay, dynamic resolution between 50% and 100%. So I'll just lower the background detail to medium, probably. Although between medium and high, we seem to have similar performance there. I'm looking into a distance. But hey, draw distance on ultra is quite a lot of grass on screen. But I love that they put high and low. Medium is pretty rare in games like this. Let's put the ocean on medium, the effects on low. Shadows didn't seem to make much of a difference, and the fog on low. There it goes. Yep. I'd say if you want 1440p on the 3060 with upscaling, obviously, you should do something like this. 66% resolution, which is quality DLSS, medium background models, which we might be able to put them on high actually, ocean medium, effects on low, and fog on low. That's my first impression on the open world, at least. Yeah, never mind. The draw distance, keep it on medium. So what I said about draw distance on medium. The background model detail, not only draw distance. And if you don't mind some drops into the upper 50s, that's pretty good. Now my resolution is not 1080p right now. It's actually a bit over 1080p with 66%. Anyway, let me go very quickly back to 1080p and see what we can do with it. Yeah, it says 1080p here, but it's 1440p. On 1080p should be even faster. Yeah. On 1080p it's actually 70 something FPS. with these settings. It's just a bug in the UI because it uses your your borderless full screen resolution, which technically is 1440p. So if I put it here now, it says 1440p, but it's been always 1440p. You lose 10 frames. I think it's 960p, yeah. But again, we're playing at 60 frames. And DLSS looks much better than TAA. Anyway. So as I was saying very quickly, let's do 1080p. Again, doesn't have proper full screen like many other UE4 games, which is a bummer. But if you change your desktop resolution, you'll get there. Yeah, shadows for some reason on this one doesn't use as many resources as on the previous. Let's disable the dynamic resolution. Let's put it on high, why not? Okay, DLAA, 1080p. Alright. So on high settings, you can get away with it. Some drops into the 50s. If you do not care about those drops, you should be good. The thing is, when looking into the distance, upper 50s without upscaling on 1080p. And if you want to fix that and keep it at 60 consistently, consider either dynamic resolution or lower the draw distance to medium instead of high, which should match the PS5, I think. Does it run on 1650? Unfortunately, it doesn't boot on anything that is not an RTX card or a 6000 AMD card or an ARC Intel card. At least not right now. Man, that draw distance takes quite a bit of juice on the GPU. No wonder the PS5 has pop-in. Yeah, the draw distance, tweaking the draw distance, background models, medium. Tweaking that draw distance is the way to improve performance, especially in the open world. Is there fall damage? Of course not. Yeah, it's working better than I expected, especially in the open world part. Alright, so on 1080p, you can play with DLAA using the settings that I showed you. This one. You can also use dynamic resolution if you don't mind. Just put background on medium, the rest on high, you should be good to go. Then if you want 1440p, I recommend dynamic resolution at 66%. In this case, since we're putting 66 maximum, you should stay at 66% resolution with DLSS, which means basically quality DLSS at 1440p. And use basically the same settings. But now it's time to do 4K. And the stuttering, there's very little stuttering. And I made the game crash somehow. 4K. Unfortunately, no FSR and no XeSS. Why? I don't know. But it's not there. It's funny, when there's DLSS and no FSR, I can't, I'm always scratching my head like, why? I think DLSS should be harder to implement. Okay, 4K. 4K! At 4K, I'm probably going to use 50% resolution, but just for the memes, let's start with the native 4K. Okay. 4K. Wish me luck. Let's keep it at 100. And let's put it on the highest. Just let's break everything. Let's see. 23 FPS on the at native 4K on the highest settings. That's alright. It makes sense. Let's lower the background model detail to medium. Let's pretend we're on a PS5. Okay, with medium background models, we go into the 30s, looking into the distance. Man, it looks so much better at 4K, obviously. I mean, just zoom in. So much sharper. So now we're going to do the usual. We grab the settings, we put them on high, the dynamic resolution at 50%. That means performance DLSS. So high settings with performance DLSS. Let's see if this helps in any way. It should. And yeah, you have VSync and VRR. I think when they put VRR here, this means no VSync. Okay. I think we can go a bit higher by just lowering the draw distance. Yeah, it's a bit better. Although, if we're going 4K, you're probably just targeting 30s on a 3060. Medium background detail. But hey, you can play at 4K with DLSS performance, that is 50% resolution, so technically this is 1080p, but it looks way better than native 1080p. It also runs worse than native 1080p, but yeah. Fire.
No escape.
Doinks. You got a 2050 running on players and prayers. I think the 2050 is slower than a desktop 1650 actually, which I find hilarious. But if it does have the DX12 Ultimate technology, then the game should technically work. The most demanding setting, I think, is the background model detail. Without a doubt. Especially if it's on Ultra. Again, I think the settings that impact performance the most, at least at first glance, apart from resolution obviously, is the background model detail, maybe the ocean detail, and the fog. The shadow, for some reason, yeah, and the effects. And if you're in the city, character model detail, and the amount of characters. But the biggest one is background model detail. Especially on Ultra. On Ultra, it wrecks the performance. I mean, as you can see, I have half the frame rate with ultra background detail. So definitely that option, I would say this is the one that you should lower first. But if you want the, like, instead of a performance thing, let's make it go between 100% and 50%. So another option is to do dynamic 50% to 100% with high background detail. And this should make the game change resolution in real time using DLSS. There it goes. Yeah, it even changes the models on these rocks on the highest. But as I was saying, this is, depending on what's on screen, it will be either between 4K and 1080p. You can go lower if you want to, but considering this 3060, I think that's pretty cool. I was expecting worse, honestly. It doesn't look blocky or anything. We don't lose the smaller details. It looks pretty sharp. Also, the VRAM stays at 10 gigs, at least in this open part. Which again, so far it runs worse than the other parts. It's a good place to stress test, I think. Oops. How's stuttering so far? There is a bit of stuttering, especially at the beginning. The game does compile shaders once it launches for the first time, but it seems that they missed some shaders. Some effects do produce a stutter the first time they show up.
Moving on then.
But after that, it's all good. Especially considering how the previous one was when it came to stuttering. Anyway, let's swap to the 4060 and see what happens. Especially when it comes to VRAM. I'm interested. No DLSS 4, I think, as far as I know. But that's probably going to be tweakable from a driver level, so... For what I heard, you can override DLSS with DLSS 4 once that releases. Oh, the lighting. Holy hell. Oh well. If you get stutter issues, disabling flow control guard with mod DirectX games reduces it. I don't know what that means. I never did that before. What am I missing? Oh, yeah. Okay, finally the camera is paying attention to me. This is the smoothest GPU swap you've ever seen. I've been doing this for 10 years. No, I'm not kidding. Seriously. I started making videos in 2014. Looks too easy. It becomes easy. Okay, 4060 now. Let's start with 1080p DLAA highest settings. How did you do it, Cosmin? I have a hard time believing you. Somebody's not telling the truth on the internet? Impossible. There's no way. Everything that you read on the internet is true. It's weird that there are no NVIDIA drivers with this game. I agree. That's weird. There we go. Preparing shaders. You can skip it if you want to, but I highly recommend you do not skip this. No, the 5700 XT won't run it apparently. From what the requirements are saying, you need at least a 6000 series AMD card for the game to launch. TAA, TAAU, or DLSS, which is better? So far, DLSS looks better on this one. How depending on the GPU? On the CPU? I haven't checked. Actually, I forgot about that part. I was busy trying to get to open world. Right now, the CPU usage is stupidly high because we're compiling shaders, so it makes sense. I will see. Is it using the new DLSS? I have no idea. I don't think so. So the game bases resolution on your desktop? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So if you want to change the resolution on the game, change your desktop resolution. Happens on many UE4 games. It bugs the hell out of the of the UI. There we go. So you need to change the desktop resolution, and the game will take that as a base. Okay, so the highest settings with DLAA. Which again, the background model quality will make the performance suffer quite a bit. Yeah, as you can see at the beginning, some stutters. Let's do, I don't know, an effect for the first time. Maybe heal myself. Yeah, there we go. So some shaders are not compiled. Maybe a sword attack. Yeah, that wasn't compiled either. Now if I do it again, it's fine. What about... So yeah, at the beginning you're going to get stutters, unfortunately. That sucks. Yeah, the first fight that I do as soon as I compile shaders has some stutters, then it stabilizes. Still way better than on the previous one. So when you're going through the prologue and all that, that should fix it for this section of the game. So yeah, there are some shaders they still need to put on that previous part. Otherwise, we're going to keep getting this. Yeah, normal day in Unreal Engine.
Keep it together.
Anyway, so I was talking about quote-unquote best settings. Let's go to a tall place. Before going to a tall place though, 52 on the highest settings without any upscaling. My advice, again personal preference, just grab the background model detail and lower it to high. And this should fix all the problems. And there you go. You get a huge performance boost. You jump from the 50s to the 70s. And it's using all the VRAM. Which makes sense, we only have 8 gigabytes. It's funny to say we only have 8 gigabytes of VRAM. We live in the future and I don't like it. Yeah, we're doing the Steam Deck right after this one. And right after the Steam Deck, I'm doing the Xbox showcase. So, busy day today. But I'm happy to be here. So, as I was saying, background level of detail. 64 FPS on high. But if you put it on ultra, instead of 64, you got 40. So it's kind of like enabling ray tracing in a game when it comes to setting performance thing. So unless you have a top tier GPU, put this on high. Don't bother. On frame gen, I'm not seeing a frame gen option. So yeah, when it comes to the settings, just lower that background level of detail and you should be good. Yeah, nice view. So anyway, let's do 1440p. 1080p I think is pretty straightforward. I'll just load a previous save. Is it a manual save? Yes, it is. So if I go back to the beginning of the game, instead of the open part, instead of 60s, how much do I get? 100. Yeah, of course. See, the non-open world part is like 30 frames ahead. That's why I always ask you guys, okay, is there an open world? How far is it? I had to play for an hour and 20 minutes to get to the depending part. So the prologue is not a good reference. Definitely not. Yeah, just 4060 high settings, 100% resolution, and you're good to go. Yeah, grasslands is where it starts. Yeah, on ultra there is almost no pop-in. It's kind of crazy. Although in some angles, it does happen.
Sephiroth, busy, I suppose.
He's holed up inside the mansion.
Yeah, in the earlier sections, it runs significantly better. Alright. I think it's time to do 1440p. And let's see how that VRAM fares. Again, since we don't have actual full screen, we gotta go here. It have frame gen? I don't see any frame gen options. So I don't think so. Let me double check. Screen shake, no. Screw that. Screen resolution, display mode, frame rate, VRR, brightness, dynamic resolution, background model detail, DLSS, character. Yeah, no, there's no frame gen. You can probably add it with lossless scaling if you're interested. Yeah, the wattage is kind of crazy, I agree. Okay, 1440p, let me double check. Oh yeah, the bug in the options menu, a classic. There it goes. So 1440p on high settings. Again, not the highest when it comes to draw distance, because you get half the performance. But the pop-in is gone.
It's on you.
Ready when you are. I have you. Next time. Now.
I'm vengeance.
Feeding time. Defense here. Be at peace. You're up.
So it's my turn? This one's for you! Yoo-hoo! Go on!
What is DLAA? Yeah, DLAA is basically native resolution with DLSS on top of it. So instead of upscaling it, we're actually just doing native res with DLSS as anti-aliasing. So it should look better than normal, than native resolution. It's basically, again, using DLSS as anti-aliasing.
Sorry about that. You've got this.
My
How is it Steam Deck verified? Because it probably gets 30 FPS with a lot of upscaling. And the Steam Deck does have a ray tracing capable hardware, so that's probably the reason. But hey, native 1440p, even in the open world, it's okay. So in my opinion, what you should do right now, instead of going lower with the settings, is just tweak the resolution a bit. And by tweak the resolution a bit, I mean put it at 66%, which is equivalent to quality DLSS. And you should be good to go. VRAM seems to be under control so far. I think we're going to start seeing performance degradation at 4K, actually. I'm playing with a controller. It doesn't have FSR. It has TAAU, which is the Unreal Engine upscaler with TAA. Then you have normal TAA that looks more like linear upscaling. And you have DLSS if you have an RTX card. But it also baffles me that there's no FSR and XeSS.
Here we go. Don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it. Oops.
Here goes. Go on.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I'll talk to Tifa later.
Need a light.
Burn.
Get ready. Take the lead.
That's over.
Okay. Edit party. I have to go with the classics. Sorry, I gotta go with the audience retention. Better said. There we go. This should give me 5 hours of viewer retention. There we go. No, the 1650 unfortunately doesn't even run it. Area of interest discovered. Seems to be a better PC port than remake. Yeah, definitely. Especially when you look at the options menu.
All set.
Just by looking at the options menu, you can tell it's a better port. It has way more options.
Give him your all. Yeah, bingo. Bring it. Keep it up.
Dive kick.
Was never in doubt.
Reduce 2 atoms. Is there upscaling for AMD GPUs? Yeah, you have TAAU or the normal TAA. That's basically it, unfortunately. So for 1440p, again, high settings, put the resolution at 66%. We're using DLSS. That's quality DLSS. At 1440p, in my opinion, looks good. If you want native 1440p, you can also do it, but it will be into the 40s instead of the 60s. But DLSS does a good job on this one, in my opinion. Oh man, Stellar Blade. Do we have a release date for that one on PC? March according to leaks. Ah, oh, leaks. I'm so tired about leaks of everything. I love to be surprised. Sometimes. I think last year they actually hired people to do the PC port. Maybe they were already working on it, I'm guessing. Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Actually, that one I have a contact on 505 Games. So I can actually request a copy of Wuchang Fallen Feathers. I'll be there on day one. Anyway. VRAM seems to be under control. If at 1440p you get crashes or anything like that, medium textures. I don't think they change in real time actually. Oh, they do. If you're having any performance degradation, put that on medium. I don't think it does, but if it does at any point, consider putting that on medium. I'm going to keep it on medium even for 4K. So, as usual for the memes, we're putting the game on the highest, skipping those textures, with 4K. So again, on the highest, on the ultra preset with the draw distance, it's half the performance. So that's something you should keep in mind. 3070 equals 4060 in this one? That's a good question. It should be close, right? I mean, they have the same VRAM, they have similar performance in general. It should be a match. Should be. I think the 3070 is a little bit ahead though. What do you think the Spider-Man 2 PC requirements will be? It all depends really. If the game is like on PS5 and always has ray tracing, well, then we're probably going to be looking at something similar to this one. I mean, no matter which setting you use on PS5, you have ray trace reflections. So we'll see. Although, if you ever played the leaked version that the community pulled back together of Spider-Man 2 PC, it does run on non-RTX stuff, so I'm still hopeful that you can. Okay, 4K. 4K native. Highest settings. Okay, at native 4K on the absolute highest, including the draw distance and all that, you get into the 20s, like the 3060. We're also VRAM limited, probably. So it doesn't make sense to play like that, in my opinion. The first thing to lower is background model detail. That puts it in the low 30s, upper 20s probably. So 4K high. So if you want 30 FPS at native 4K, this is an option, although I'm pretty sure it's going to drop as soon as something starts happening. But hey, it's there. You can take advantage of that. It's using all the VRAM though. So my solution, as usual, if you're playing at 4K on a 60 series card, you're better off using DLSS performance. And that should do it. Have you made a test video of MechWarrior 5 clans? No, I haven't. Okay, and we're getting similar numbers to the 3060. Although the 3060, I put textures on high. Here it's on medium because textures, well, we only have 8 GB on this one. Also, Square Enix recommends, how many gigabytes was it? 12 gigabytes for playing at 4K. But you can use 10 gigabytes at 1440p with the 3060, so... The 4060 can do it. Just lower those textures to medium and you should be good. No, it doesn't have frame gen. At least not yet. But okay, I think it's time to show you this game on Steam Deck, actually. It's a separate live stream, but you'll be redirected quickly. I need to do it right now because in around 1 hour and 15 minutes, Xbox is doing a live stream and I want to watch it. So far, I'm pretty impressed. I thought it was going to be much worse than it actually is right now. I mean, already the port of the previous one, Final Fantasy VII Remake, this is Rebirth. This one has way more options. I mean, you don't have ocean detail, background models, effects, shadows, fog. And well, you also have TAAU. And a low resolution font, probably for the Steam Deck. And you can also tweak the dynamic resolution. And in the previous one, you had like effects and shadows, or no, textures and shadows, but dynamic resolution was always running. So I'm happy to report that on this one, that's not a problem. It has way more options. What we need that is missing is FSR and XeSS and FrameGen. Then I like this minimum and maximum dynamic resolution. You can make it as blurry or as sharp as you want. The background model detail option on Ultra is half the performance. So if you don't want any pop-in, that's great. But I recommend using high. Ultra looks amazing, don't get me wrong, but this is a little bit too expensive on the GPU especially. And the open world is when it runs the worst. So if you're in the first 1 or 2 hours, you're going to be in the closed environment, to say it in some way. So that's something you should keep in mind, in my opinion. So yeah. I'm guessing this will have frame gen at some point, yeah. But as of right now, this is how it is. So I'll go back to a previous save, probably. I'll put the intro while I prepare the Steam Deck. One sec. There we go. So while that's running, I'm going to put the other live stream running. Otherwise, and it doesn't have music. Apologies. It's not on purpose. It's to protect myself. So this, whoa, this controller is vibrating. Jesus Christ. So for the Steam Deck, we're going to put it on public so you guys can see it. There it goes. Okay, that will be on public. And it will redirect you automatically. Automatic. So you don't have to do anything, you're going to be redirected as soon as this stream ends. But again, on PC, I'm pretty impressed with what they put in here. considering, I mean, the bar was too low considering what the previous game had when it comes to PC options. But I think it looks great on PC so far. The main issue I would say is that it doesn't run on non-RTX cards and previous than RX 6000 on AMD. So it requires a DX12 Ultimate compatible GPU. But otherwise, that's all I have to say. Thanks again to Square Enix for providing a code of the game. This is Unreal Engine 4 like the previous one, but again, you need an RT capable card. Otherwise the game refuses to launch. So thank you for watching and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys. See you in a few on the Steam Deck video.